nga agahon. Coming to you live from Numancia, Aklan in Western Visayas in the Philippines. I'm having my morning cup of tea, green tea. Green tea is my drink of choice for now. Let me make sure I'm online here. I don't want to be like talking here and not be online. Let me see here. Sometimes it takes my laptop a little longer for me to get online. All right, it looks like I'm good. Looks like I'm good here. All right. Let me get started with the weather. I always start with the weather here. This morning, I already had my morning walk this morning. Uh, Felt like rain. Felt like rain this morning. I didn't get wet, or it hasn't rained yet. But you know how you can smell the or feel that rain coming, which is a good thing because it has been so hot here in our area in Numancia, Clan. For most of the Philippines, it's been uh, this has been like the heat indexes over 100-degree Fahrenheit temperatures, a high of like 119 in Butuan City, heat index. So it's been hot. So today looks like we're going to be experiencing some rain. Some rain. There's already areas like in Luzon. Like I know I saw a post from Fortune. I saw a post from Fortune that it's raining. It's raining in this area. Not raining here yet, but I do see some rain clouds. I do see some clouds outside. It's not that bright, sunny sun already. Usually, this time in the morning, it's like blazing sun already, like looking out my window here. But today, I see some clouds. I see some possible clouds. Aloha from Southern Leyte, my baseball brother, the Cubs fan, they're in Southern Leyte. Man, it's hot here. I know, man. You ain't lying. You're not lying at all, Derek. It has been super hot, man. Pretty much anywhere in the Philippines, there's no escape. There's no escape from the heat. This morning, it's already 79 degrees Fahrenheit here, cloudy, and when I walk this morning, I can tell it might rain today. Not guaranteed, but you can kind of feel. You can kind of feel that it's gonna rain. That low pressure area, formerly they called it Typhoon Kaloy. That formerly it's now a low pressure area. As of 3 a.m. this morning, it's 980 kilometers east of central Luzon. So they're not expecting it. They're not expecting it to hit land. That's far, 980 kilometers. It's just they have to report it because it's inside the Philippine area of responsibility. But it says here the same weather reports that I've been talking about for the last month. Metro Manila, the rest of the country, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers today. But there is rain already in parts of the Philippines this morning. And it's a good thing because they've had so many fires. Like this past few weeks, unbelievable amount of fires. Like in the city, like Paranaque City, Iloilo's had some fires. Even here in the province, pretty much anywhere in the Philippines, it's like a fire season. It's been like fire everywhere. So this rain will be a nice welcome. Maybe limit the amount of rain. We are getting close to the habagat season here in the Philippines. Monsoon rains are pretty soon here. The pag-asa, the weather people here in the Philippines, they're going to be announcing the monsoon. Monsoon is here. Habagat is what they call it here in the Philippines. Probably towards the end of May, even maybe the beginning of June, we'll get an announcement from Pag-asa, the weather people here, that it's now the monsoon, the start of the rainy season. That marks once they announce Habagat season, monsoon season, June you'll still see some sunshine during June because last year Dazzle and I we spent the whole month of June in Boracay Island, and we experienced like I would say 50-50, rain sometimes, sunshine sometimes. So it doesn't really get really wet here in the Philippines like the peak of typhoon season towards July all the way to November is typhoon season here. You're gonna see more rain, but more rain on the way. You know, but right now we're still in the summer. It's still hot, and the thing that's making a lot of news, it's in the news right now. It doesn't matter, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, is power outage. That's the thing right now. It's power outage here. Um, they make announcements where the condition red alert. Red alert means like in Luzon, red alert means expect power outages because the grid system in Luzon, same thing here in Visayas, the grid system here during the summer months, they just get overwhelmed. It's nothing new. It's nothing new. If you live here in the Philippines, I've been talking about it the past few weeks here about it's a way of life here in the Philippines, power outages, especially during the summer months because everybody starts using their air condition. You know, everybody start using their air condition, and the grid system here just can't handle it. It's because the the grid is infrastructure is dated, it's old. They don't spend a lot of money on rebuilding a lot of these infrastructure here because the electricity here in the Philippines is privatized. It's not the one time back in the 70s. That was the biggest thing here in the Philippines. Everything was controlled by the government, and there was a switch to that. You know, because when after 1986 people power, there's a big switch here in the Philippines where everything got privatized here. And you know, there's good and bad. You know, it's like when it's the national government controlling it, or it becomes privatized. You know, to me what privatized means is these companies are in it for the money. You know, they're not in it to like help the people or anything. They're in it for the to make money. So they're gonna make the most money that they can. So maybe that's why they try to keep the infrastructure not advanced because that might be too efficient and they can't charge people more electricity. Who knows? Who knows? But electricity's always been high here in the Philippines, higher than it is in America. I know that it's costs more here for electricity. Again, a lot of it because of the infrastructure here. Ivon, hello. Oh, Czech Republic. I don't see many people from Czech Republic joining the live stream. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. Phil, 24 here in Hong Kong. Very comfortable. Oh, good. Good to hear. Good to hear. You're comfortable in Hong Kong. Here, very hot. Very hot. Today, not so much because cloudy skies, but I can feel the humidity still. The humidity is what gets you warm here. Howdy, Gino. All right, there's Alan, my good friend in Texas. 62 days. Oh, wow. That's pretty close. I say, you know, you'll be here before you know it, man. And Elna will be home in Kalibo. All right, Boracay. Can't wait. Can't wait. Hey, man. I know it's exciting. I know it's exciting, man. There's Fortune. Fortune. Good morning, Fortune. Gino fam and the Panay posse. All right, I'll continue with the, like I said, the you know that whatever happened in that political in the Philippine Senate, that kind of died down now. You know, the main news now here in the Philippines, it's the power situation, the electricity situation. Red alert for the Luzon grid, Visaya, same thing, and then Mindanao, even like for this tomorrow, they're expecting red alert as far as like electricity. Electricity issues definitely is like the main big topic right now here that I see in the news. Uh, Brownout, it's just they call it sometimes brownout, blackout, but it's the same thing. They can call it brownout, they can call it blackout. It's basically no electricity, no electricity. And what's happening is they're kind of like roll. There's certain times like from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. you might not have electricity. So different areas, they're not shutting down the electricity in the whole entire Luzon or the whole entire Visayas, but they're rolling it out. So we might lose electricity here in our area. Then when it comes back in our area, it'll be another area here in Visayas without electricity. That's kind of like the main thing going on with this rolling power outages. But there's areas in the Philippines like this one, Sibuyan. It says here, Sibuyan Islands. 24 hours already that they do not have electricity in Sibuyan Island um, because they had generator sets that the National Power Corporation broke down. So not only the consumption is a problem because again a lot of the infrastructure here is dated. When something in the power plant breaks, that happens too here. I remember last year, if you can believe it, Boracay Island, one of the top tourist destination in the Philippines. Last year, one whole week there was no power in Boracay Island. That just like I said, that stuff happens here. If you're thinking of moving here in the Philippines and power outage is a big issue for you, maybe invest in solar, maybe invest in solar energy, or maybe the Philippines is not for you. Maybe the Philippines is not for you just because there are a lot of power outages here, and I'm just going to include this in the story about power outages. I saw this, and I knew about this. I knew about this in the Philippines. The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, NGCP, is a privately owned corporation that controls the electricity for the entire Philippines. Privately owned company. The thing I found interesting is uh, China. China owns 40% stake in the NGCP. So China controls 40% of all the electricity here in the Philippines. Pretty interesting to me how China has that kind of control. The NGCP is the sole operator developer of the country's power transmission network, responsible for conveying high voltage electricity from generators to distribution utilities. So they basically control the electricity here in the Philippines. And it's a group that owns the NGCP private group here in the Philippines. Monte Oro Grid Resources Corporation is one. Calaca High Power Corporation is two. And the third is the State Grid Corporation of China. Like I said, China owns 40% of the NGCP here in the Philippines that controls electricity. They might want to look at that. They might want to look at that situation because, with all the friction between China, you don't want them controlling 40% of your electricity. And it's been record-breaking heat, and that's part of it. Breaking that it's been so extremely hot this past month. 100-degree temperatures, humid, out of control heat indexes here, fires happening everywhere. So the consumption of electricity when it's super hot in the Philippines, everybody just uses their AC. Now I know we do. We use our AC more because of the summer. Usually, we can get by of using our AC only to sleep at night or sometimes we don't even need to sleep at night when it's like during habagat season, rainy season. We just open the windows. It's so you got that fresh air. But during the summer months, even during the daytime, like afternoon, like after 12 p.m., after lunch, man, it this area down here, it is like cooking in this area, man. So we have to turn on our AC, our air condition, and stay in our room because it gets so hot. All right, let me. I'm getting behind in the comments, so I try to. I try this not to get too behind, not to get too behind. And we got rain in Bacoor. Yeah, we got. Yeah, I saw that. I saw your post, Fortune, that you got rain. Looks like we might get rain here, but the sun is trying to come out right there. You can kind of see there's still a little bit of clouds. This morning on my morning walk, you know how you can feel like rain, you can feel like rain, but it didn't rain. But hopefully it does. Cool off things here a little bit until 4 8. Welcome relief for sure, right? That's the way I would feel too, man. If it rained here, it'll be a welcome relief. Good AM, Derek, Phil, and Ellen. Hey, good morning, JP, JP Kalibo. Hope you're feeling better, JP. I know you were under the weather there. Hopefully, you're feeling better now. Good morning, all from Phil. Some areas getting rotating brownouts now. Lucky so far, none for us. But Imus next down, they lost power for 3 hours. We lost power here for a couple of hours, about 2 hours. We lost power here yesterday. So right now, that's just how it is. During the summer months, that's why when I do the live stream, I'm always connecting my internet to my Blue Yeti because power can just go off at any time during the day, not scheduled. These are like unscheduled power outages, and you don't know how long they last. It's worse when it's like you get a power outage like right after lunch at 1 p.m. to like 5 p.m. During the peak of the heat during the day. That's when we go to the mall. That's when the minute that happens is we're going to Gran Gaisano. They got generators at Gran Gaisano, so everybody goes to the mall and hang out at the mall because they have AC, they have air conditioning at the mall. Good AM, JP. See, the sun is already coming up. So you can see now. Man, that's the. Let me move my camera here a little bit that way. I'm like not being hit by the sun here because it's coming out now. The sun is coming out. Michael Manalastas. Good morning, brother Gino and everyone. Good AM, Michael M. Hey, Lowell, kamusta? From Oregon, mabuti ako, kapatid. Mabuti ako, Lowell. God bless, my brother. Sibuyan Island is in Romblon. Yes, 24 hours in Sibuyan Island. No electricity. And that happens, like I said last year, Boracay Island didn't have power. I think it was July. Good thing we were there in June and July. 1 week, one whole week in Boracay, they didn't have electricity last year. Good morning, Fortune and JP. God bless. Hey, there's James. Hey, James and Karen's adventure. I was just watching your video. That's why I was a little late. I was trying to finish the video, watching the video before I started my live stream this morning. Your shopping trip to Calibo. Looking at baby stuff, looking at baby the crib with the mosquito netting. I saw some strollers in there. Get ready, James. You're gonna need all that, man. You're gonna need all that stuff. Sibuyan is dubbed by scientists as the Galapagos. Oh, wow. I did not know that. Thank you. Thank you for that information, Fortune. I might have to check out Sibuyan Island now, man. The Galapagos of Asia. Emilio. Hi. Good. All right, Emilio. Electric Mafia. Yeah, I hear that. I hear that, how to me I understand that these electric companies here in the Philippines, to me they don't have incentive to like really upgrade the system here. That's why I think they keep it the way it is because they can charge us more. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. I mean, these electric companies, they're not losing any money. They made a ton of money here in the Philippines, electricity in 2025. None of them are losing any money. And I think a lot of that is they're not reinvesting the money in the infrastructure. They, if like if a grid or somebody breaks here, they just raise our electricity. The consumers end up paying it. That's why a long time ago, like I was mentioning here in the Philippines, back in the 70s during the President Marcos, the first Marcos Senior, Marcos Senior was the president here. Everything was controlled by the government here. Electricity was owned by the government. Everything was like owned but there's also a bad thing about that. When everything is controlled by the government. That's why I think they went from everything controlled by the government to everything privatized, but they went I think too far. There's not an in between. There's no, you see, like with oil prices, gas prices, electricity prices, the government doesn't have any control on limiting how these privatized companies are making money, making a ton of money from us. Why do you think 40% of the electricity is owned by the China? Because they're like making a ton of money. There's no incentive for them to like upgrade the system here. They're making a killing with the money they're making as it is. So why fix something to them that is not broken? For us consumers, it's broken. We're getting a bad service, but for the companies, they're making a ton of money. The other 60%, Monte Oro is one of the companies under SM Group. SM Group, and SM Group, Fortune, a lot of maybe they're not fully Chinese, but a lot of those SM Group, they're like half Filipino, half Chinese. So pretty much, China has a big grip on everything here in the Philippines, including electricity. Typo, good morning, Gino. I figure it was typo, Emilio. That's why. Good morning, Emilio. Good morning, AM Emilio, Alan. That's why we have solar lights and at least a few solar. Yes, that's why I have the Blue Yeti. We have portable, rechargeable fans here, the tiny ones. At one time, we had a stand-up one, but it didn't last very long. We've managed, and now habagat season, rainy season starts. Once the rainy season starts, uh, it's not a problem. Power outages here. When we have power outages during the rainy season, it's cool anyway. So if you have like a power station, you can still run your internet. Yeah, it's just a big deal it's a big deal here in the Philippines. Power outages when it happens during the summer months because it is already cooking. It is already hot here. And when a power outage happens, I couldn't even imagine if you were living in Metro Manila. The heat in Metro Manila because it's a concrete jungle. It's like it's so hot already. I can see people posting on they're making memes on Facebook about they're like cooking like a roast pig. They're cooking like lechon. People are cooking like lechon. So hot in Metro Manila, and then on top of that, you put a power outage, man. It's like unbearable because you can't run any electric fan, or you might be able to pocket electric fan, but how long will that last? Will that last you all night if you have a long power outage? But all that power outage, it's like I said, if you live here in the Philippines, it's part of life here. You can't, I do not know an area here that is immune to power outages. If you live in the Philippines, you're gonna have to deal with power outages here. That's why many people, I know a lot of expats, they buy a solar for their house. Fortune, good AM, James and Karen. NGCP is the transmission company. You see those tall and big posts. Yes, yes, the gigantic, right? When I'm driving to going to Katikan when I pick up Emilio, I got to pick up Emilio here on Monday. You see them on the road, gigantic. Was even in the mountains, you see them. Big posts, big net, and I've seen those things fall too. I've seen those things fall too, man. So That creates more power outages here when those things fall. Bry, hello, Bry, Orchin. Power business has three components: generation, those who produce electricity, various types. Tran- yes, I'm sure a lot of components, but three major companies controlling it. Though. Three major companies making a lot of money from people here. They're not hurting. I know the electric companies here in the Philippines, they are not hurting. It's the people that are hurting, unfortunately. Update on Casa, JP, Reynaldo. Hey, Ray, my good friend, my brother in Sacramento, California. Good morning, Island. All Dazzle TV. Oh, thank you, Ray. Thank you, Ray. Yesterday I met up with Brian, man. That was so awesome, man. Brian's such a good guy. He's a retired United States Air Force also. He recently moved. He was in Cebu City a couple of days to process his SRV. Now he's in Iloilo City. He met with the Colonel and Chriselle, and then yesterday he met with Nia, Dazzle, Mom and Leanna, and he surprised Leanna. I knew about the gift, but I hadn't mentioned anything to Leanna or Dazzle. Brian gave Leanne Apple Watch, so now Dazzle has an Apple Watch and Leanna's got an Apple Watch. So I'm sure the two of them will be competing now. I'm sure they're going to be competing with their workouts. But that we had a great lunch yesterday with Brian. I'll see him. I'll see him again here for sure. I told them Dazzle has talked to Kat about the Canadian Beaver second anniversary. Uh, According to Kat, when Dazzle and her were talking, it looks like it's a go for the second anniversary of the Canadian Beaver is in June. June of last year was the first anniversary, so it makes sense it's June again, right? But Mike, I think, was maybe thinking of like moving it further down because of the oil crisis. But really, there is really no oil crisis anymore. I mean, gas prices are high. Gas prices are high, but to me, it's manageable now. It's about the same price we were paying during the pandemic. So to me, it's not as bad now. Initially when the crisis in the Middle East happened, it skyrocketed from like 60 pesos a liter to like 105 pesos a liter. Now it's about down to 80 and below, 80 pesos a liter and below. So it's manageable. It's not a big. You don't hear much now about the oil crisis. Or everybody here got their ayuda. Everybody here got their ayuda, and that's the main concern of people here. When the whole thing about the energy crisis, the president declared the energy crisis, national emergency on the energy crisis. The people here in the province, anywhere you go in the Philippines, they're just worried about the ayuda. Ayuda it's a money given by the government here. It's like they gave money to tricycle drivers, jeepney drivers, bus drivers, fishermen. I mean, they're just government's just handing out money left and right. People are lining up at their different municipalities, and that's the thing here in the Philippines is ayuda. As long as the people are receiving ayuda, they're not going to be complaining much. They get that money. It's like they got smile on their face. Move along. No crisis averted. Crisis averted. All right, let me see. I'm still on the power outages here. I'm like looking here. Luzon. Really, it's like hitting everywhere. It's not in Luzon. The areas like Bulacan, Laguna, Metro Manila. You name it. It's like in Metro Manila, Caloocan, Las Piñas, Makati, Malabon, Mandaluyong. Nobody is immune. Nobody is immune to this red alert power outages. Same thing here in Visayas. It's like the whole country limited. We are limited electricity. So power outage this next few days. Red alert as far as electricity in the Philippines. All right, pesos. The dollar to Philippine peso. Um, It hit an all-time high again. It closed an all-time high yesterday, 61.72, the lowest the peso has been ever against the US dollar. So we're probably going to start looking at 62 now. It's the way things are. And I have now heard, as far as like the Banco Central of the Philippines, that's kind of like the Federal Reserve of the Philippines, the one that handles money here. I have not heard of them defending the Philippine peso. I did see, let me see if I can find it here, the article that I had on it. The reserve money. It has been going down. The Philippines maintains a stock, or the reserve for the Philippines is US dollars. And when I started watching the US reserves this beginning of 2026, I was keeping an eye on it. It was around $112 billion is how much dollars the Philippines was holding. And then it has dropped. It has dropped from 112 billion. Now it is sitting at 104 billion. 104 billion dollars is where it sits. End of April. End of April. That's how much. No, about $8 billion. $8 billion um, less when at the beginning of the year. A lot of it, they're showing reduced money coming in, remittance. Remittance is a big part of the Federal Reserve holding dollars here, because about 38 to 40 billion dollars money coming from overseas Filipino workers sending money to the Philippines. But there's been a drop. There's been a drop of maybe what's happening in the Middle East. A lot of people are not able to send money, but there's a drop, a definite drop on the amount of people sending money to the Philippines. To the distribution, these companies are the ones distributing the power to commercial, residential, like Meralco. Yeah, I saw an article on Meralco. Meralco's been a distribution of electricity for many, many years here. Since I was a little kid here, I've heard of the Meralco, the company. They ain't hurting for money. They ain't hurting for money. In 2025, they showed record profits distributing electricity. So, like I said, these companies aren't hurting for money. These private companies distributing electricity here in the Philippines. I saw they had like from 2024 to 2025, 14 or 15% higher earnings in 2025. So they ain't hurting. These electric companies, they're not hurting for profit. That's why maybe they're limiting the infrastructure, rebuilding better infrastructure. They're just pocketing all the money. It is what it is. Same thing here. Akelco, Fortune mentioned here, a clan cooperative. That's a different dynamic. We're supposed to be, as a cooperative, we're supposed to be part of that distribution, but it's not making our electricity bill go lower. That's all I know. We have high electricity here. Cost of electricity is high here too in Aklan province. Fortune, good AM, Ray, Bri Capistrana. Good morning, sir, Gino. And I'm back to watch your live. Oh, thank you, Bri. Good to see you. Good to see you, Bri. Been busy lately at work, and I understand, man. It's like no pressure, and just watch when you can. I always tell that to people, man. I know people are busy. I'm busy. I'm busy. I'm not able to watch as many. I got so many friends on YouTube. I can't watch everybody. I can't. I have family. Dazzle, of course, Leanna. This is Leanna's summer vacation. I got people coming in. It's like June is going to be arriving in Boracay Airport on Monday. So today's Saturday. So Monday, I won't do a live stream on Monday because I'm picking him up. He's coming in at the airport at 8:30 arrival. So I'll have to leave the house here probably at 6:30 or 7 to make sure I'm at the arrival in Boracay Airport. So no live stream tomorrow. No live stream on Monday. Maybe Tuesday, maybe, because I'll probably stay overnight in Boracay Island. I'm gonna assist. I'm gonna assist June He's got an Airbnb for like 1 month, but he wants to open a bank account. He wants to safety deposit back. He wants to look for permanent apartment in Boracay. I always tell people, uh, just come here to the Philippines if you're interested in living here, like at an area. You can't really rely on the internet. Unfortunately, even when you see something online, oh man, the pictures look nice. It's like, but like my friend Daniel will tell you, Daniel, he got catfished. He got catfished. That place that he found online in Lapu-Lapu City, big disappointment to him. That's why he's moving to the Robinson's Galleria condominiums. Once he's done with he paid in advance for. That's the thing. It's like the pictures might look good, everything sounds good in the apartment, but when you get there, boom, you get catfish. It's not the same apartment. You get scammed. So that's why I always tell people, come here. You know, uh, stay in an Airbnb 1 2 weeks while you're especially for Boracay. This time of the year in Boracay, this is peak season. All the apartments, all the condos there are taken because this is peak season. So that's why I told June, just stay in an Airbnb and then start looking, start making connections in Boracay. There's only limited people that I can really recommend, in Boracay, like my friend Rosalie, the Airbnb where June is staying, because she's a personal friend. She's a good friend of mine. She's honest. I do not want to recommend somebody and then you get scammed. That's why I'm careful when I do that. Here in Calibo, I know the owners of La Casa Española. Everybody that I put in that apartment are happy. Edgar's lived there, Mel's lived there, Nefty's lived there, JP's living there. My friend Gray was living. People were happy. So I continue to recommend them because I have not gotten negative feedback from people that have stayed there. JP loves it. He loves staying there. I thought he would have moved out by now. I thought because he got here December, I thought he was going to just stay at La Casa Española for like maybe 3 months. He's staying there. He loves it there. They treat him well there, and that's what I do. I recommend you guys to like good places where I would stay, like where June is going to be staying Airbnb in Boracay. I stayed there for the whole month of June last year with Dazzle. Rosalie is a good friend of mine. You get VIP service. You get good service because they're friends. It's people are, hey Gino, help me find an apartment. They'll say that. It's not that easy. It's not that easy because like I do not want to recommend a bad apartment and then, oh damn man, Gino, he didn't do me justice. So I'm careful. I'm careful on who I recommend here. I hope everything is fine. Yeah, everything's good. Everything's good. We just had intermittent power interruptions here in Cavite. It's expected. Like I said, this time of the year, summer months, it's part of living here in the Philippines. There's no way of getting around that unless you got solar. Good morning, all my friends. All right, Colonel, and sports fans, Colonel. JP Calibo, Emilio, daily weddings lately. Ooh, daily weddings. Wow, wow. A lot of people. Oh yeah, because it's a summer month. Summer months, JP. That's why. You know how in the US, I think in the US, June is a big June bride. Here in the Philippines, a lot of people get married during the summer because you're guaranteed good weather. June, you're kind of, half and half. Usually the month of June here, you know, 50% of rain, 50% of sunshine. The outside of La Casa, very beautiful. And everyone wants, yeah, that's the thing, right, JP? The grounds of, the landscaping, all the plants, they're using La Casa Española as like a wedding venue because it's so nice. You take great pictures, to have a wedding there. They are mostly quiet and never keep me up. The Filipinas in white are too beautiful. You're not complaining, right? You're not complaining. You're not complaining about the bridesmaids, and good AM Colonel from Fortune. Good AM Bry. Some of the big distribution companies are into generations too. So they own some power plants. Are into generations too. How about the new building update? The new building, Emilio, I don't think it's completed yet. I don't think it's complete. I'm sure once it's completed, they're gonna have like a grand opening, cutting of the ribbon, cutting of the ribbon. I'm sure. Paul Morgan, good morning, Saib. Good morning, Paul. My brother in Iloilo City. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Colonel James and Karen. God bless from Lowell. Ray, uh, good morning, Fortune. Have a wonderful weekend. LOL, JP. Thanks, Ray. Hey, Michael C. Michael C. Good morning, brother. My brother in Trece Martires in Cavite. Good AM, Michael C. Morning Fortune. Summer ending in a few days. Officially, when they announced it, when Habagat they started, but I expect it to still be hot. I expected, we still got, I think, about a 2 weeks of it's still hot weather. I don't. You might say summer has ended, but the heat ain't going to be leaving us anytime soon. Usually end of May, beginning of June. Like I said earlier, Pag-asa will make an announcement of a monsoon, the Habagat season. But I don't see this heat leaving us soon. Fortune, I see this heat staying for at least a couple of weeks still. Natural gas powered generators could be long term solution for Philippines. Yeah, it could be. It could be, JP. Right now, there I saw a statistic. More than 60% of electricity generated here use coal like charcoal or coal, COAL. So uh, I think about only 14 or 15% is generated by natural gas. It takes time. That's the thing here in the Philippines. Yeah. Even if they discover more natural gas in Malampataya East in Palawan, it takes time, man. Nothing gets built quick here. Everything moves here in island time. So they might discover more natural gas. Man, it'd be like 5 years before you see any benefit to that. That's just the way it is here. Nothing gets done here fast in the Philippines, as most people know. As most people know, nothing happens. Moves fast. And hey, Niels, hello, Niels, in Phoenix, Arizona. Emilio, I do not have any dates for opening. Same thing, with the opening. Emilio, I know you're waiting on that opening of that new. They added more apartments at La Casa Española. Everything here moves on island time, man. It's like even the construction workers. A hard day drinking night, they might not show up the next day. That's just the way it is here. It's like no projects here gets done on time. It's always delay after delay. Very common here. Not just house building, government project, anything. I have not seen anything here get done on time. It's like anytime they make an announcement, we're building the bridge, like the bridge from Iloilo to Guimaras. All systems go, it looks like. Construction starts July, but it won't surprise me it gets pushed back. It's always delays. Sometimes it has to do with the money issues. Here in the Philippines, very common here when people build homes here. It's very common to build the home piece by piece. It's not the same in the U.S. where you're thinking, okay, I paid my down payment. They're building the house. They're going to complete the house to completion. Here, very common to be like. Uh, they'll build the first floor. They'll put the kind of like foundation of the second floor, and they'll stop. They'll run out of money or something, and people will move in to like half finished homes. Very common here. Very common. Even here in Camellia, I see homes here where they're building it. Oh, it looks like they're building that home. Then all of a sudden, the project stops for like 6 months to 8 months. Then next thing you know, it starts back again. Very common. I think a lot of it because of money. People sometimes run out of money, so they have to like delay the projects. And adding at La Casa is adding like 10, 12 units, of apartment. That's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money to add, just uh, the fixings, the tiles, the furnishings, the refrigerator, that's a lot of money when you add that, so. Yeah, I do too, JP. When I see Filipina and then when I see Nathaniel, Nate, it's like I ask them, as far as the progress. Wow, it's been 2 years. Wow, it's been 2 years, Niels. Ayuda is same form of a stipend to somehow provide some short-term relief from ongoing crisis. Yes, and then here this when the oil crisis, the energy crisis happened, man, it's nonstop ayuda. Everybody wants ayuda. Everybody wants a stipend. Everybody wants a stipend. Ooh, I did get a stipend. It's like everybody. And that usually calms everybody down. That usually, the uproar. Gas prices are so high, but the minute people get their ayuda, that usually. And I was gonna talk about a little bit about the ayuda because there's, I read this article, and to me it makes sense. One of the problems here with the ayuda, it costs a lot of money for the government to even distribute ayuda because the ayuda here is handed in cash. Maybe in the future, hopefully they can go electronic. I don't know, but the people that usually need the ayuda, uh, a lot of times they're the people that don't have bank accounts. Here in the Philippines, data still shows like 40% or over uh, don't have bank accounts. That's hard to believe, right? Like somebody doesn't have a bank account, but and usually it's the poor people. Your farmers, fishermen, the people living in like the slum area. They're the ones that don't have bank accounts. A lot of times they don't even have IDs. Because it costs money here to acquire IDs. Maybe the national ID may be less, but there's usually a fee. There's usually a fee here to get IDs, and the process of getting ID here, because you got to get a birth certificate, and if your birth certificate is not PSA, you got to go to the Philippine Statistic Authority, and then you got to get that PSA on your birth certificate. That costs money. So a lot of times, the poorest people here, man, they're trying to put food on the table. They ain't got no money to get PSA certified birth certificate, ID. A lot of times they don't have, and that's why they end up not having a bank account. So even the payout centers, when you think about this, they're passing out ayuda, 3,000 pesos per person or 5,000 pesos per person, and there's thousands of people lining up, hours for them to distribute, right? Well, you gotta have security for that money, right? You gotta like make sure you got an armored truck, you got security watching the passing out of money. It's like a extra cost that local governments they'll have to securing the money, making sure nobody steals the funds. Um, But a lot of times, once the ayudas start arriving, a lot of times that calms a lot of the uproar, because usually when there's a crisis here, it could be a typhoon, it could be an earthquake, it could be Mayon volcano, all those calamities here in the Philippines, flood, anything. There's ayuda coming out of that, and the local, the government, they're quick action. That's why a lot of areas you will hear, like in Mayon volcano, they'll declare a state of calamity so they can access emergency funds. So kind of like how in the U.S. you got FEMA funds. It's the same way here in the Philippines, but a lot of money. Yeah, we're talking billions and billions of pesos in ayuda, because it's almost like here it's one ayuda after another, because one stipend, the crisis, the energy crisis stipend, the flood before that, the floods they had in Cebu stipend, Mayong volcano stipend. There's just like, you know Uh, I wonder sometimes where the government keeps getting all the money. It's a lot of money. It's like the Philippines don't have a lot of money anyway to begin with. Maybe that's why the the reserve, the Banco Central Reserve, is less $8 billion. Dole outs. Hey, Daniel, howdy and morning to all of the posse. All right, Daniel, good to see you. Good to see you. JP, La Casa Española is a low risk place to start your new life. That's why I put you guys there, JP. That's why when I was looking at all the apartments here in Calibo, my main concern was safety. That was my main concern. I'm putting you guys here. I'm encouraging you to move here, find a life here. That my main concern. I want you guys to be safe. And one thing about La Casa Española, it's safe, it's quiet, CCTV. There's always people maintaining it. Not you don't have to be worried about your safety. And then it's a beautiful place, man. There's nothing like it in Calibo. It's on the higher end. It costs more than the other places. You can get cheaper apartments in Calibo easily. I can name a number of apartments cheaper than La Casa Española. But the problem is, it's like you get what you pay for. It's not going to be as nice. There's not going to be a staff to help you. If something breaks, it might take days before they fix anything, and you don't have that problem at La Casa Española. To me, it's almost like the service I would have expect when I was living in apartments a long time ago in the U.S. That's a service that you would get there. My wife asked why she has not heard you lately. So much. All right. Said hi. All right. Well, I do the live streams every other day. I try to anyway. But the next few days I might not be able to do a live stream because I'm gonna be focused on June, trying to help him get settled in Boracay. Introduce him to like people I know in Boracay. Introduce him to Dazzle's relatives in Boracay, Dazzle's brothers. That way somebody's at least looking out for him in his new life in Boracay Island. We'll be watching yeah, me too, man. Dazzle and I, we've been watching the NBA games, and we have a league pass. We have NBA league pass. I think we pay like $9 for our NBA league pass here. Good AM, Daniel from Fortune. Good AM, Fortune. Bry. Only if the power companies could have competitors, the energy prices will drop low. The country only have one generating, transmitting, and just yeah. I think that's why Bry. That's why they tried to privatize it. At one time, everything was controlled by the government. Electricity here in the Philippines was controlled by the government back in the 70s. That's why they moved away from that. They privatized it. Same thing with oil, same thing with gas prices. That's why the government doesn't have any control anymore regarding electricity and oil. The only thing the government does with electricity and gasoline is they tax you. They tax you. They take their cut. The private corporations make their money, but the government still the electricity that you pay, the government still gets their 12%. It's like you can't get away from the government here, man. Fortune, let's go Spurs! All right, Fortune, good luck on the Spurs, Fortune. Mabilis, my brother in Leyte. Good morning, Cruz. Good morning, Cruz. I am not quite sure how solar resources could withstand habagat or typhoon season. It gets more destructive every year. I'm afraid that might lose my expenses for that. Yeah, it's like uh, definitely would have to find a reputable solar person to install, right? I would be nervous too, like here in that's the thing that's kind of like I've been debating for if I when I finally get solar, it's not going to be the entire house. I'll still have electricity. I just want it to be like an added source, maybe to reduce my electricity bill, but I definitely have apprehension about putting it on my roof. Because my roof isn't is 2 floors. We're 2 floors, and believe me, when we have typhoons here or winds here are caused by the typhoons, my roof is buckling. We can hear it. We can hear it. Yeah, I've been to super typhoons here, so that was one of my concerns. Brian, also, my thinking was if I do build something, would be I would put the solar panels low here in the first floor. I have an area here where I have a carport, maybe, so they're definitely concerned. It's like there's not a single home here. Over 300 houses here at Camellia, no solar on the roof here because that's their concern. I know that when we had super typhoon super typhoon Ursula in 2019. That's and I were living here already. Man, I thought my roof was gonna come off. I thought Dazzle and I was hiding in the bathroom. It's like we closed our bathroom separated. The walls are all cement. We were hiding in there, and the whole house was like shaking. And I was nervous about our roof like flying off. So there's no way I can put solar panels on the roof here. So that I would have the same concern as you. That's why I've been kind of like debating on solar panels. And good morning, Belu's. His Mom Janet. I see. I can tell that Mom Janet. That's your handle. Good morning. Good morning. Passing through. All right. Have a happy weekend. Happy weekend, Mom Janet. Go Spurs, go. All right. All right. I like the Spurs. Spurs is one of the teams I like rooting for. I lived in San Antonio for 4 years, so saw a lot of Spurs games. So I've kept trying. And then, of course, when Tim Duncan got drafted, I was living in San Antonio when Tim Duncan got drafted. I actually saw him. When he got drafted, they had a welcome to San Antonio from Tim Duncan at the Riverwalk. I went there. I was in the crowd. It's like Tim's like waving. When he got drafted by the Spurs. So I remember. And a lot of my friends in San Antonio. I hear from them. Hey man, I'm telling them, good luck, guys, good luck. Hope the Spurs take it all. Expat. Yes, about 70% of houses not finished out of money. It usually gets spent on other things. It's sad. Yeah, and the thing, if they don't finish the house, they're still living in it, right? It's not like they're not getting use out of the house. They'll just make sure that they secure a portion of the house and they'll live in it. And then as they make more money or remittance from OFW or whatever, they'll try to finish the house. So many houses here you see unfinished. Daniel Ford. That's why when you see it, it looks some houses look abandoned. Then you'll be surprised. There's people living in there. There's people living in there. That's a common occurrence, especially here in the province. It's not a big deal here in the province. Maybe in the city, in the cities in the Philippines, they got codes. They got codes inspection. Here in the province, it's the wild west over here. You can pretty much build anything here. Nobody will ever inspect your home here. JP Bond, J&K, Colonel, and Janet. Fortune, good AM, Mom Janet. Bond. The ayuda is not the problem. The implementation is easy to corrupt. Government service delivery in the Philippines needs to improve, but take advantage, keeps getting elected. Yeah, it's a problem that they'll probably never solve one because a lot of times the delivery is the problem. That's one of the problem. And you will see here, man, when they announce ayuda, even the local governments, everybody that's handling the distribution, they're excited because unfortunately it's been known that they have their cut. They take their cut. Yeah. Even like as the lowest level to the level of the barangay captain, if the barangay captain gets to distribute the ayuda, he decides who gets the ayuda because he can decide. I remember you didn't vote for me. You're against me when I ran for barangay captain. You're not getting ayuda. That kind of stuff happens here. In the Philippines. It's not only the people that are excited that the ayuda is coming. A lot of times, the people distributing the ayuda, they're excited too because unfortunately, there's some things happening there also that makes them happy. Makes them happy. Peanut butter travels here. Emilio, ayuda. Here go electronically. And they're trying to move towards that. The ayuda. I remember I got, at one time, what was that? During the pandemic, I got it in my, it went to my bank account, and I was living here in the Philippines. When we got money from the U.S. government. The problem here, Emilio, like I said, the people that need the ayuda, the poor people here, majority of them don't have bank accounts. So how would you send them the money if they don't have a bank account? Maybe Gcash eventually, maybe, but they might not have a cell phone. How would they access their Gcash? Like I said, over 40% of people here in the Philippines don't have bank accounts. I think ayuda there is whoever close to the officials. That happens. Like I said, a lot of times it's been known here. It influences the vote here, right? Because like I said, if you voted for the wrong person, these people, they find out you're like campaigning against them, and it's time for them to distribute the ayuda. You might not get your ayuda. They might be like a, what's that, administrative problem. It's like you don't have two IDs. They'll come up. They remember here, man. That's the one thing about the Philippines. The people here, it's like they remember when you're against them. When you're against them here, they hold a grudge. Filipinos are notorious for holding a grudge. That's why I try to like get along with everybody, man. I try not to piss anybody off. Like I don't burn any bridges. I'm always polite to people because Filipinos, they're the kindest, nicest people. But I also know Filipinos can hold a grudge. They will carry grudge for many years. You're like, you might upset somebody. They won't say anything to you or anything, but they hold a grudge for years to come. You'd make them mad, but they're holding that grudge. I'll get you one day. I'll get you one day. Sometimes they get commission before they give it up. You a hard time. Give her a hard time. Daniel, all right. Daniel, are you still located Cebu? Did Brian get? Yeah, Brian and Daniel, they got together for lunch. Brian told me met Daniel. Yeah, they had a great time. Daniel's about to move to another condominium, the Robinsons condominium, because he's not happy with the first location, first housing that he secured. He got catfish, unfortunately. Yes, still in Lapu-Lapu, but moved to more central Cebu next month till I complete my SRRV. Your live broadcast will always be available if the power is out. The battery should get you over a little bit when rain. Yeah, that's why I have the Blue Yeti. This Blue Yeti can run me for, if I got this fully charged, my internet can last for 2 to 3 days, and then it's easy for me to charge it. I can charge it in my car. When we go to Calibo, I just plug it into the cigarette lighter and it'll charge it. Meet with Brian last week. Yeah, and I met with Brian yesterday. I met with Brian. We had lunch. Dazzle, Mom, Leanna, Brian. He gave us some gifts, man. I got so many sunscreen because Brian had asked me, "Hey, Gino, what do you need, man?" I said, "I can always use sunscreen." Man, he got me like 5 spray bottles of sunscreen, so I'm set. I'm set regarding sunscreen. And then he got Leanne an Apple Watch. So generous of him. I mean, Leanna's like so happy. It's just like there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's light, yeah, a light at the end of the tunnel for sure for Daniel, for sure. He'll hopefully he'll get the SRV then. Every week the light. It's getting brighter. Oh, good to hear that. Good to hear that, Daniel. That's cool, Daniel. You guys are great. My kids will call you guys uncles. Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. That's what Leanna. That's what Leanna. All the Leanna's got so many Tito. Tito's here. All right, Derek. Derek says he went for his morning walk. All right, Derek. Thank you. Thank you for coming back. Awesome blossom, Derek. One will be an honor for sure. For sure, be an honor to be called Tito. I get called Kuya or Tito. Is what people call me here. I haven't been called Lolo yet. I'm not that old yet. So everybody either calls me Kuya or Tito. What is your ETA for the PH? Phil, there are many ex that have unfinished homes in the Philippines. Oh yeah, uh, to me, for Americans, for foreigners, you might view it as an unfinished home, but I know for Filipinos, they don't look at it as an unfinished home. If you're living in it, to me, if it's livable, uh, it's just a way the way that, how how they build here. It's like you build your house when you have the money. When you don't have money, you stop, but you're living in the house. So when more money comes in, you start adding to the house. So it's just different ways of people looking at it. I know most foreigners, when they look at a house here, oh, the house that is not painted. It's not painted. It's just like hollow blocks and cement, but it's not painted. Some of them it's not even smooth cement, right? But to a Filipino, if it's livable, that's a house. It's like it's just a different perspective. Different perspective. One, next Thursday we fly. Saturday next we will be in Bacolod City. All right, around the 1st of June we will be Iloilo. All right, man, that's not far at all, man. That's like June. It's like a couple of weeks here, man. Awesome. Hope y'all have a safe trip for sure. Safe travels, Vaughn. Safe travels. Is Brian in Calibo na? No, we met with him yesterday and then he left for, he was going to spend the night in Rojas City. Rojas City is only about an hour and a half from Calibo, an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on how he rented a car. So he headed off to Rojas City. Sheriff and Leanna can touch eye watches and get Wonder Twin powers. Yeah, they're gonna have so much fun. I'm so thankful for Brian because I know they're gonna have they're gonna challenge each other with their eye watch. And now they're gonna like walk and exercise. So it's awesome. They're having fun. The two of them, JP. They're always having fun. Wonder Twins, activate. Wonder Twins, activate. Hello, brother. I'm back in Seattle. All right. Uh, good thing you got back. Good thing you got back to Seattle. Gino, I want to get the hats to you, but I have been. I know, that's why I haven't really like stopped by or anything because I know you've been sick. Do you want to share it with you or your family? No worries. Let me know, JP. Just message me when you're feeling better. I'll come over. I'll come over to your apartment. I see Mike from Mike is in Iloilo. I saw that too. I saw that. You know, I've watched him off and on throughout the years, and I saw it comes on my feeds. It comes on my feeds. I saw that he was in Iloilo. Too much balut. Too much balut. Hope you bet. I don't think he's ever tried balut. I know JP hasn't tried balut. All right, let me see here. I got other articles here. Let me see here. Rain, a little bit. I was talking. I don't think we'll get rain now. Like the sun is like, what happened to my rain clouds, man? My rain clouds are gone, man. But supposed to be big, high possibility of rain today in the Metro Manila. They definitely need it. Metro Manila definitely need the rain. It's been hot in Metro Manila. All those fires in Metro Manila, and they can use some thunderstorms or whatever. They can use some rain in Manila. But today, uh, high chance that they will get rain in the Metro Manila area. My own volcano is still erupting. You don't see it much in the news because there hasn't been a big eruption of my own volcano, but for 132 days now, consecutive days, it's been producing lava, it's been blowing ash. So maybe not as a big burst, but it's still affecting the area. A lot of the area in the Mayon volcano area, they still have the 5 to 6 kilometer danger zone. People that live within that, they're not allowed to go back. A lot of people are still staying in evacuation centers. And that's the thing with these volcanoes. When they have like an eruption, a significant eruption, it's not one of those things where a typhoon will come and you will be done with the typhoon. Maybe 2 3 days and typhoon, everything's back to normal. With the volcano, it doesn't work like that. If you live by the volcano, if you live by my own volcano and it spews ash, it could be spewing ash for many months. It could be 6 months, or it could last a year. That you'll be constant barrage of ash. Because I experienced it during Mount Pinatubo. I remember when I was following Mount Pinatubo back in '91, June of '91. A whole year after Pinatubo erupted, that volcano was still throwing ash everywhere. So and then like I mentioned before, when the rainy season comes, then you got to worry about the lahar flows, all those ash that's built up. If you can imagine rivers, a big river, and ash has dropped on the river. That river is now compact with ash. So when the rainy season comes down, man, it's gonna cause flooding in those areas, or the lahar flows, very damaging. If you've seen a lahar flow in like on a video, if you watch a video online, they take out houses, they take out subdivisions. Very dangerous, very dangerous. But right now, it's like the 6 kilometer permanent danger zone, strictly prohibited people. There's farms in those areas that people can't go back to their farms if they even have farms, because once your crops get buried in ash, those crops are gone pretty much. But 132 days consecutive now that Mayon volcano is producing lava flows and producing ash. All right. Mango. I was going to talk about mango. Mango festival in Guimaras. Opening ceremony was 15. Yesterday was the opening ceremony of Mango Festival in the Guimaras provincial capital. So if you're in Iloilo City, might be worth a trip to Guimaras. You're only a 15-minute ferry ride to Guimaras Island. Lots of activity. Lots of activity. It's a Mangahan. Mangahan Festival is what it's called. The Mango Festival in Guimaras. They had the grand opening yesterday, 5 p.m. yesterday at the Guimaras provincial capital. But they're gonna have music, celebration, big festival in Guimaras Island. They got white sands. They got white sands in Guimaras. If you're looking for a nice beach close to Iloilo City, Guimaras Island will be your closest white sand beach will be in Guimaras Island. 15-minute ferry ride. Just kind of like here, with the Boracay Island in mainland Aklan, we're only from Katiklan, you're only a 15-minute ferry ride to Boracay Island. Same dynamic in Guimaras Island in Iloilo City. Get well soon, JP from Vaughn. Get well soon, JP from Fortune. Captain Ron, JP, is your housekeeper feeding you chicken noodle soup? I am doing fine. It's just a normal head and chest cold from JP. Housekeeper is stopping by today. Brought me, oh, bak choy. Yeah, good thing, good thing. Bak choy is like It's not chicken noodle soup, but it's similar. It's got noodles, chicken on it, a hard boiled egg usually. Really good. Bok choy is very popular here in our province of Aklan. The other day, bok choy cures everything. Bok choy cures everything. I know. JP loves bok choy. He's got a Mons bok choy in Calibo on Rojas Avenue. Is JP's favorite bok choy place. Even balut poisoning. Even balut poisoning. Joke on it. Good morning on my elliptical. Wow. Oh, nice elliptical, man. A friend of mine was asking me about that because one of his requirements. He wants to move here to the Philippines, but he keeps asking me. It's like, do they have elliptical in that gym? And unfortunately, in Calibo, I have not seen an elliptical. I've been to the gym. We've used the gym at the Royal Suites Hotel. There's another gym that we were a member at one time. I have not seen an elliptical here. I've seen it in Iloilo. I've seen a elliptical machine in Iloilo, but not here in Calibo. Not unfortunately, we don't have it here in Calibo. All right, I'll talk about the heat indexes. There's going to be, says here, 46 areas in the Philippines that's going to be going through a heat index, danger heat index. Like I said, man, people that's here, they know, man, it's been hot. It's been hot here. It doesn't matter where you are in the Philippines. It seems like the danger level in Metro Manila, of course, Pasay City, Quezon City, are some of the danger heat level. In Ilocos region, Dagupan City in Pangasinan, Bacnotan, La Union, in Cagayan Valley, Tuguegarao City, Apari, Cagayan, Isabela, all danger heat level. Central Luzon, Nueva Ecija, Bulacan, Tarlac. I mean, I can just name all the places in Luzon, and it's a dangerous heat index. Same thing here in the Visayas region. Dumangas, Iloilo, going to be registering about 115 heat index. Rojas City, 109 degrees Fahrenheit in Rojas City. Mambusaw in Capiz, Siquijor, same thing, 109 degrees Fahrenheit. In Eastern Visayas, in Borongan, Eastern Samar, Gian, Eastern Samar, Catbalogan, Western Samar, all danger heat indexes. Just hot. It's hot in the Philippines. Like I said, they might announce that Habagat season is arriving soon, but I don't think we're gonna get relief from this heat the next 1 week or 2 weeks. I'm thinking we at least have 2 more weeks of this extreme heat here in the Philippines. So here it says, Philippines under extreme heat, dangerous heat index levels. Davao City, 109 degrees Fahrenheit. Iloilo City, 113 degrees Fahrenheit. Palawan, there's no escape. There's no escape from the heat. It's no place to hide in the Philippines right now. If you don't like heat, yeah, avoid the Philippines during these months. Avoid April, May. Avoid the Philippines if you can't handle the heat. And it's a different kind of heat here in the Philippines. I've mentioned it many times. It's because of the humidity. I've lived in many hot places in the United States. I've lived in Texas. I've lived in Louisiana. I lived in Arizona. Man, the heat here in the Philippines hits different. And for the thing too, most of the places I mentioned in the United States, most of the time you go from your air conditioned car to air conditioned building to air conditioned house. You can regulate your house at a temperature. Here in the Philippines, most houses here we don't have central air here. Very rare do you see somebody's house central air because electricity is expensive here. You can have central air if you want. You can pop up like AC units all over your house, but your electric bill is going to be in the hundreds of dollars. It's going to be expensive. Yeah, I remember HD posted here the other day on the live stream. He goes, his electric bill is like 14,000 pesos. I mean, 14,000 pesos, man. That's like $250 almost an electric bill. I was like, dang, man, you must be running AC all over your house, man. My bill never reaches, my bill every month is maybe 70, $80. This past month is the highest I've ever paid for electricity. It reached 5,000 pesos, so about $90. Because I think I get, there's something going on with like the energy crisis, the they added some fee. I'm sure they added something to my electricity bill. Everybody's electricity bill was higher uh, this past month. Again, the electricity mafia, the electricity mafia. Cubs are playing White Sox. Yeah, the Angels today. Hey, Brian, there's Brian right there. Good morning, brother Gino, the rest of the posse. Man, it was so awesome to meet you in person yesterday, Brian. And thank you so much, man. Leanna is just so happy about her Apple Watch, Brian. It's like she's over here. Her and Dazzle last night. They're trying to like play with it. She's wearing it, and so I'm so thankful, man. So thankful. Really appreciate that you did that for her, Brian. Hit the like, please, to remain eligible. Panaya Bisset upon arrival in Calibo. I will get Brian a cup. I'll get Brian a promise. I ran out of cups, so when I go to Boracay on Monday, that's one of my goals is make my coffee with Gino cups. My source here in Numancia kind of let me down, so Dazzle told me get like 12 cups, order a dozen cups while I'm in Boracay. So I got these made in Boracay, the ones with the dark color inside. The cups are better actually, the ones in Boracay. So it's a little more money, but I'll order more cups and the hats. JP already has the hats ready, so I will save you a cup and a hat. When I see you next month, at the Canadian Beaver for their anniversary, Brian, I will make sure you get a cup and a hat. Bill Meyer, good morning, Bill Meyer. Good morning, JP from Brian. Captain Ron, JP, add some garlic to your bok choy. I always cook with garlic. Haven't had, 20 years. Nice, nice, man. 91 here in Iowa. Oh, that's pretty good. 91 summer weather in Iowa. Captain Ron, does granulated garlic work? Sure does, JP. Onions and ginger will help. Maybe the sheriff has a family cold cure. I'm trying to think if Dazzle has a. Usually, Dazzle, when I get sick, she'll make me lugao. She'll make me lugao with a lot of ginger. A lot of ginger, the lugao with the hard boiled egg. And she'll put like shredded chicken on it and green onions on it. Hey Merle, there he is, Merle. I will see you, Merle. Monday, man. I'm picking Merle up on Monday. How are you? I'm good. I'm doing good, doing good. One more day in San Diego. See you soon. All right, man. I'll be at the airport waiting for you, Merle. Hey, Brian. I asked about you earlier. Where are you at now? JP, just imagine riding Blue Arrow in the. You'll be right as soon. My housekeeper got a job offer for next school year. Oh, good to hear. Good to hear. She got a job as a teacher yesterday and wants to talk to me this morning. Oh, okay. Maybe she'll arrange like maybe on her day off from school. Maybe I don't know. Uh, that's I'm happy for her though. At least she found a job for the next school year. Ryan. Yes, my friend. It was such a pleasure visiting with you. And you are so happy for Liana that I was saying, oh, I know. And like everybody else, Brian, I'm sure Dazzle surprised you when you met Dazzle, right? Because everybody, when Dazzle, she acts quiet sometimes, she acts reserved, but when she likes you, when Dazzle likes you, when you get the sheriff approval, she's a lot of fun, right? Right, Brian? Yeah, she'll give you a hard time, she'll tease you. She understands sarcasm because she's been married to me now 10 years, so she understands. She's been around so many expats. She's not your typical Filipina anymore because she's been exposed. She's been exposed to us to a lot of expats. She understands the humor, the sarcasm of the expats. Good AM, Captain Ron, Brian, Bill, Merle. Nice, JP. You like Bachoy. Avon. I'm in Rojas now until tomorrow, then back to Iloilo. When I picked up Maggie and classmate at UP Diliman, we went Ilonggo food at JT's Manukan. All right, it's Joel Torre, the actor. He owns this chain. Oh, okay. I have not. I don't think we have a JT Man. I've never seen that. JT's Manukan. They call, yeah, the freeway. I have a hat, man. My Dodger hat actually on the side it says the Freeway Series Dodgers Angels. I should have worn the hat today since they're playing. Because I used to watch the Angels too when I lived in California. It's part of the thing when you live in California. You support all the different teams in California. So I watched a lot of games in Anaheim Stadium. The Los Angeles Rams, I saw a lot of games in Anaheim. Also the Angels at Anaheim Stadium. I don't know if they still play in the same one, but Morning Fortune, do you have a remedy for the common cold? I'll ask you about renting a car. Oh yeah, Brian rented the same car as mine. He rented a gray Toyota Wigo economy car. It's great. I mean, roomy is the Wigo. It's like we have no problem. Mom, Dazzle, the animal. We have no problem fitting in our small economy car. We had chicken inasal, apan-apan, and kansi, then took out bok choy for. Oh, nice, nice, man. Kansi, man, I love kansi. I like that. Kansi is kind of like bulalo with a little bit of like sourness to it. Uh, the batuan fruit or batuan that they put on the kansi. Captain Ron, we just drink water here, and if you have the equivalent of Sinopret, that's what she prescribes. Did you get feeling you were dreaming about being here and it wasn't real? That's how I felt meeting Gino and the sheriff. Meeting the sheriff. The Yes, Dazzle is awesome. The whole family are just thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ryan. How is Panay life from Daniel? Yes, JP. Welcome to the Philippines, Brian. Hello, Fortune. Welcome home, Brian. Good morning, Daniel. Loving life, buddy. Yeah, I know. I can tell, man. I can tell from Brian. He's just he's been here before. He's been to many places here in the Philippines. He's a scuba diver. Experienced a lot of scuba diving here, so I know just gonna have a amazing time here. Amazing time here in the Philippines. And but out of all the places, he's been to Luzon. He's been to Palawan. Everywhere. He's picking Panay Island. He picked. I asked him yesterday. What made you pick? Out of all the places, he picked Panay Island. He picked Iloilo. We ordered bachoy, but good thing I was talking to the lady supervisor. She's from Oton, Iloilo. All right. She mentioned that their bachoy has ginamus, shrimp paste in the soup. Maggie, oh, good thing, man. Yeah. I'm not, surprisingly, Fortune, I'm allergic to shrimp, but I can eat like bagoong, dayok. They call it dayok here in Aklan. Ginamos, I can handle it. I can handle it for some reason. I'm not allergic. One, we can have a conversation before you get here, and I will get you hooked up. All right. The good deal, good deal. That's awesome, Brian. That's awesome. So we decided to take out for Chi and got Kansi as alternate. Yeah. Oh, good choice. Anyway, man, I prefer kansi. I prefer kansi, man. That's one of my favorite soup here. It's kansi, bulalo and kansi. They're like a go-to for me. Yes, Sir Brian. Thank you. All right, all right. Okay. Earthquake. We had a couple of earthquakes also, man. I gotta announce this. This one happened in the Lupiri Island. I actually don't know where that island is, but it says here 4.6 in the Lupiri Island, 6 a.m. Thursday, May 14th, earthquake. And then there was another earthquake. I think all these earthquakes are gotta be connected to the volcano activity. Uh, this was a big one. This one a 5.5 earthquake. That's a big earth. Anything five and above, even four is, you know, uh, strong earthquake. But 5.5. This one's a big earthquake. Happened in Cagayan. Oh, the Lupiri. Okay, so this is the same one. So it's in the Cagayan area. 5.5. Wow. This happened. Yep, 6:14 a.m. May 14th, last Thursday. Seems like we're getting earthquakes here almost every week. Almost every week. And one warning, I did see this one warning. Uh, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, they are warning people in the Romblon in Mimaropa here in the Philippines. There's box jelly. Box jelly could be deadly. This box jellyfish, uh, you don't want to mess with it. You don't want to mess with the box jelly. So before you jump in the water, I always check anyway. Before I jump into any water in the Philippines, it's just a habit of mine. I just don't run in from the beach and jump in the water. I always kind of look around first, see if there's any jellyfish in the shore that's dead. You know, a lot of times you'll see dead jellyfish. So usually that would be a sign that if there's dead jellyfish, more likely there's jellyfish around. So that's one of the things you got to watch for. So box jellyfish or sea wasp is what it's called here in Romblon area, especially. Uh, Box jellyfish sightings in Occidental Mindoro, Oriental Mindoro, Marinduque, Romblon, and Palawan. So it looks like it's not just in one area of the Philippines. So watch out this time of the year for box jellyfish. Very dangerous jellyfish here. Apan-apan is kangkong. Oh, apan-apan, kangkong. I've never had that. I've never had apan-apan before. I would like it because I like kangkong. I eat kangkong all the time. Kangkong is water spinach. What? That's one of my go to vegetables here. I like kangkong. And Maggie class finished that dish with our in the salad. All right. Hey Bon, thank you so much, Bon, for the super chat. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Bon. With the heart. Expat Information Network. Thanks, Gino. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Bon. Appreciate that, my brother. Jellyfish counter is calamansi and vinegar. Okay, I heard of that. I've never, my 15 years here, I've never been stung by a jellyfish, but I have heard like vinegar. That's why even on one of the lights, I said maybe carry like a spray bottle of vinegar when you go to the beach, little spray bottle of vinegar just to be safe, because uh, they say when you get stung by a jellyfish here, don't try to wash it off with like even bottled water. It's not gonna help. Vinegar is the only. If anything, it's gonna spread it. It's gonna spread the sting. So most people, that's kind of like your instinct, right? Like get a bottled water, rinse the jellyfish. It's gonna make it worse. So vinegar is calamansi. Calamansi is the Filipino lemon, or vinegar is the said hi. Jody said hi. Hello, hello, Jody. Fortune. Ask mom or Dazzle. They know that. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. It's like mom for sure. Mom's got experience. Mom lived in Boracay. Mom lived in Boracay when she was a kid. She grew up in Boracay. That was They own land in portion of Boracay, mom's family. Enzo even tried the kalo kalo. Ooh, Ilonggo fried rice. I've never had that, man. I've never had Ilonggo fried rice. Might be something I'll try the next time I go to Iloilo City, man. I'll ask for kalo kalo. Ilonggo fried, because I love fried rice, man. I love garlic rice, Chinese fried rice. So I might ask them for kalo kalo next time. Jody, hey Gino, thanks for having more food videos. More food videos. I'll keep them coming. I'll keep the food videos coming. We do the Filipino food where I am. So I love when you guys go to restaurants, explain what's in the dish. All right, I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind. I'll try to explain the dishes that we eat here. When Leanna said us, a lot of times she wants to eat like American food, uh, but I'll try. I'll try. Also miss your coffee chats at White Beach. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, I'll be in Boracay. I'll probably stay a couple of nights in Boracay just to help Merle get settled in Boracay. So I'll try. I'll try. I can't promise. I can't promise a live stream on the beach just because sometimes it's the smart data doesn't work. There's Totoy. Totoy wants to go outside. Sometimes the smart data doesn't work well on a white beach, and it's hard to find Wi-Fi up front beach that's strong enough for me to like do a live stream. But I'll just make a few videos for sure while I'm in Boracay Island. I saw this medical school, man. There's actually a big shortage of doctors, if you can imagine, in the Philippines, because most of your doctors go abroad. They make their money abroad, so there's always a shortage. It says here, UP, University of the Philippines. That's Fortune School, but this one is a branch in Mindanao. UP Mindanao opens School of Medicine to help address physician shortage. So, very popular here in the Philippines. A lot of good schools here for UP being one of them, medical school. I know Iloilo's got many doctor schools in Iloilo. A lot of foreigners come here to the Philippines from all Middle East countries, African countries, Southeast Asian countries. They come here to the Philippines to become a doctor, to study medicine because it's cheaper here. It's cheaper than in their native country. University of the Philippines, Mindanao officially opened its School of Medicine, started accepting application for its Doctor of Medicine program. Officials said the new medical school aims to help address the physician shortage in the country. And I see it. I see, like, here in Aklan province, even at Asia Pacific Medical Center, a lot of the specialists that work at Asia Pacific Medical Center, they are actually based in Iloilo City. They just come to Calibo one or two days a week. Like my oncologist, Dr. Palik, yeah, he works in Iloilo City, lives and works in Iloilo City. Every Friday, he comes out to Asia Pacific Medical Center here in Calibo. You're the more specific, more specific specialists like internal medicine, nephrologists. A lot of those are. A lot of them come from Iloilo City, and they do a clinic here in Calibo. But very busy. Man, they're very busy. When they come here from Iloilo City, like my doctor, Dr. Palik, uh, he'll do a clinic here from like 10 a.m. till usually 10 to 5, but usually he goes further. Man, he can have like 100 patients, and I'm not lying. He could have 100 patients for that day on the list to see him. Daniel, like again. Thank you, Daniel. Fortune. Yes, UP wants to help medical situation in Mindanao. That's a good thing, man. That's one of the things here in the Philippines. Mindanao is kind of like out of all, you got Luzon, Visayas, the Grupo Island, major group, three major groups of island, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And Mindanao always gets the short end of the stick as far as funding, as far as projects by the government. The three groups of islands, Luzon, besides Mindanao. Mindanao has always been, ever since I was born, almost 60 years ago, Mindanao is always the poorest. Um, kind of like the Mississippi, kind of like the Mississippi in America. The budget doesn't get far uh, down to Mindanao. That's why a lot of you got more more people like complaining, complaining about the government. They're always on the short end of the stick. So it's good for me to see that hey, they're at least having like medical schools. I'm sure they have a shortage. If there's a shortage of doctors in Luzon or Visayas, definitely going to be a big shortage of doctors in Mindanao. That's probably why UP started a program in that area. Hopefully, the people that graduate hopefully serves their community, serves in Mindanao. If they're not pulled by the money going abroad. Like this coming Sunday, it says here 1.2 million residents are going to be affected by widespread power outage in central Mindanao. So it's almost like anywhere in the Philippines right now, pretty much it doesn't matter the zone besides Mindanao. With the power, we're going to deal with power outages here for the next few days, if not week, if not, if not longer. It's a given. It's a given every summer here. There's going to be rolling power outages. Part of life here in the Philippines. So they started offering a school of medicine with 35 students. Oh, that's awesome, man. I'm sure, hopefully those students are from Mindanao and hopefully they become doctors in Mindanao because I'm pretty sure they could use more doctors in Mindanao. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Hello. All right, Gino. Got all right. Go ahead. Good. I'll be following you suit, man. I'll be following you suit here in a minute. Go. I'm gonna watch the NBA playoffs myself. Good day. Good morning. Good afternoon. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Panay Posse. Later danger. All right, Bon. Thank you, brother. Eventually, it will expand to more program offerings and increase enrollment. Good to hear. Good to hear that, Fortune. UP Manila will open radio tech program. They opened early this year forensic medicine. Oop, I hear Totoy. I hear Totoy. Totoy wants to go in. Come on, buddy. Come on, girl. She had enough laying out in the sun. Right there. Now she's headed. Totoy's bed is underneath our little couch right there. She's got a bed right there. So she doesn't like staying outside. We keep her inside the house, but she does like to lay out in the sun. But when it's time for her to come in, she'll bark once, and that's a signal for me to let Toto in. As an older expat, how are the emergency services in Iloilo? Do the ambulance, police arrive at an approved? So if you have a stroke, you can be. I mean, here in Panay Island, if you're worried about stroke or getting you to a hospital, your best chances of getting at the hospital on time would be in Iloilo City because they have big hospitals in Iloilo City and they have enough ambulances. Once you get outside of Iloilo City, like in the province, like even in Iloilo province itself, like let's say, Iloilo City proper, you're in that center, you have a higher chance of getting to the hospital than if you're outside the city. Like let's say you live in Dueñas or Pasig City Leganes, like 45 minutes to an hour from Iloilo City. Uh, something to consider. To consider. That if you have a stroke, it'll take them time to get you to the hospital. Like for me, uh, I live near Calibo. I live 5 kilometers from Calibo. So if I had a stroke and had to be rushed to Asia Pacific Medical Center, my best chances probably be my own vehicle. That's why Dazzle has a driver's license. That's why she could drive. She can probably get me to the hospital in 15 minutes. That's probably the best I can do. It's like the way I look at it, it's my time. It's my time. You can't live like 5 minutes from a hospital. I guess I can if I lived in Calibo, but I live 5 kilometers away. It would be same thing if you live in Iloilo City. If that's a concern for you, Jody, then you might want to live by right there Molo, by Molo area, because the Medical City Iloilo is in Molo, by near Molo Church, like 5 minutes. So maybe if that's a concern, you want to live around that area. Or there's other hospitals like if Qualimed, if you want, you might want to, like my friend at Avida Towers, he lives by the condominiums. Qualimed is right across. He can walk. He can walk to the hospital. It's right across this building. So something to consider. I mean, Iloilo City is a big city. It's a big, so depending on where you say, if you're in where you live in Iloilo City, like let's say you live in Savannah, like Camellia Savannah, you're a good 25-30 minutes into the city. So something to consider. You know they don't have the services like you're thinking, like an ambulance to go out and get you. For me, just my opinion, it would be wiser for you to have a means of getting to the hospital than an ambulance coming to you and get you, especially if you live maybe 30 minutes away from the hospital. You want to make arrangements for maybe a neighbor that has a car, or somebody to take you to the hospital instead of waiting for somebody to. They don't have those in the U.S. Response time, or you know uh, if you can, in the U.S. you can sue for anything, right? You can sue if it takes them too long. You can sue them because it took them too long. There's no laws like that here in the Philippines. You get there when you get there. How fast will the ambulance get to us? Depends where you live. Depends where you live. Like I said, if that's a concern, how fast, I would live close to a hospital. Like here in Calibo, I would find an apartment right beside Asia Pacific Medical Center. Like JP, La Casa Española, from his apartment to Asia Pacific is 1 kilometer. He can ride Blue Arrow, or he can jump on a tricycle, and the tricycle can get him there in 5 minutes. So something to consider. There is not like as far as you're thinking, how fast will ambulance? They don't have a requirement here where to a response time to get you to the hospital. I know what you're thinking. In the U.S., they better hurry, right? Or you bet when you call 911, the ambulance better get there at a certain time, better get you to the hospital, or you'll sue them. Not many of those lawsuits here in the Philippines. I rarely hear lawsuits here. Malpractice lawsuits here in the Philippines, I've never heard of one. I've never heard of a doctor here being sued malpractice. Hi again. How's everyone doing? Hey, Mom Janet. Hello. How is the ER there? It depends. ER, it depends. Like for me, I can vouch for Asia Pacific Medical Center here in Calibo. The ER here is like, it's a brand new hospital, about 2 years old. To me, up to par to like an ER in the U.S. I have 27 years background in medical. I've worked in hospitals for 27 years, but the other hospitals here in the province, like if you're talking about like the little towns like Numancia, we don't even have a hospital here in Numancia where I live. We rely on going to Calibo for our hospital. The small towns away here in the province, like Makato, Tangalan, even Malay, where Boracay Island is. Their ER is not the ER, not the standard that is in the United States. Even like our response team here in Numancia, we do have. They're called MRMO or something like that. They're kind of like our paramedics, our paramedics to take us. The locals here in our town, in our small town, they got like two vehicles, and they're not ambulance. They're kind of like a multi-cab, like a multi-cab. They don't have like you're thinking of ambulance equipped. You'll be lucky if they even have like a defibrillator. You'll be lucky if they even have a defibrillator in there. Their defibrillator is CPR. Their defibrillator is CPR. But they're just basically trying to get you from point A to point B if you don't have transportation, because many people here don't have cars to take them to the hospital. We just don't have that in the provinces. We don't have the support. But Iloilo City's got that. It's a city. That's the thing you got to weigh about as far as living in a city in the Philippines or living in the province. If you live in the city, you have more, ambulances, more people to take you to the hospital, better hospitals in the province. And you're pretty much on your own. You want to like set up an arrangement to how to get you to the hospital. Sergeant, hey, Mom Janet, Fortune, hey, Gino, do you have backup generators back? I don't. I don't have backup generators. Joe Cano, good morning, brother Gino. Good morning, Joe Cano. I'm almost at my ending mark here, so I gotta keep fast here. Juan, Brian, the UP in Mindanao is in Davao, and that's in eastern Mindanao, northwest Mindanao in CDO once a UP campus, okay? Yeah, to open a new campus, right? It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And again, a lot of times, Mindanao is the lower priority, lower priority. That's why a lot of people in Mindanao, they complain more about the government because I can see it's like some of the poorest provinces are in Mindanao. Asia Pacific has competent staff. Yes, I have full faith with Asia Pacific Medical Center. Even my dentist is there. Our dentist, everything. I've never been that disappointed by their service at Asia Pacific. I'm so happy when they opened because before Asia Pacific Medical Center, I wasn't recommending people to come to Calibo because that was my concern. Was like we didn't have like a state of the art hospital here in Calibo before Asia Pacific Medical Center opened. Some of the hospitals here, I just couldn't recommend, but I recommend Asia Pacific Medical Center. And UP has to come up with the first officials in the faculty lineup willing to. Yeah, that would be the other thing, right? Who would want to teach there? Who would want to teach and go to Mindanao, man? Well, maybe Davao's okay, if it's the campus is in Davao, I'm sure they can recruit people to teach in Davao, but some of the areas in Mindanao, I don't know, it'd be hard to recruit teachers there. Academics not rigorous, so it's not fast. Yeah, everything takes time in the Philippines, right? Right, Fortune. Nothing happens here. Like everything here moves on island time. This AM saw blog where an American had heat stroke. That could easily happen. Easily happen. I even tell Dazzle, she's been on this walking kick, Dazzle, because of her Apple Watch. She's competing with Tim in Las Vegas with the Apple Watch. They're like sending each other like their steps per day, and Dazzle's been on this walking thing. She was walking the other day here at 2 p.m. in the middle of the heat. She had an umbrella, but she came back home. She's like, man, it's hot outside. I told her, I was like, man, I wouldn't be out there at 2 p.m., but Dazzle's so competitive. Jody Market, I've heard you need to get ambulance driver number and call him directly. Um, I wouldn't even count on that. I wouldn't even count on that because That's almost like your own ambulance driver on call. Unheard of here in Calibo. That would be unheard of. Maybe, like I said, maybe in the city, but in my situation, I would make sure you have arrangements. If you're concerned about stroke, if you have heart issues, uh, I would want to live close to a hospital, and I would have to make my own way to get there. Do not rely on somebody getting you. Not here. They could get stuck in traffic. They could be responding to some other emergency. Like I said, here in Numancia, this is a town of like 25,000 people in Numancia, and we have two like they're not even ambulance. They're like a multi-cab, and they got medics on each one in each one of those, but they respond to so many accidents. They could be responding to like a motorbike car accident on the road, and they're responding to that. If I call them or text them, they're like, "We'll get to you when we're done here." They're not gonna rush out. It's first come first serve. That's why for most people here, when it's an emergency, they get themselves to a hospital here. Well, I'm trying my best to prevent having a health issue. So exercise is starting to become, hey, awesome, Jody. Oh, that is awesome. If you're concerned about your health, so, the main priority when your health is like take care of yourself, eat properly, don't drink alcohol, stay away from smoking, exercise. That's what I do. That's why I'm all walking all the time. That's why I'm exercising all the time, watching what I eat. It's like taking good care of myself, getting plenty of sleep. That would be your best defense. Best defense as far as like James, the Western medical establishment seems to want to euthanize retirees rather than provide good medical care. I'd rather take my chance in the Philippines. I heard too much coarse talk from U.S. medical. Yeah, for me, like for me, James, I have experienced it. I've worked with a lot of doctors in the U.S., a lot of nurses. I've worked with a lot of people in the U.S. My 27, I've been around it. 27 years I was working in hospitals. I think the main difference that I see between the Philippines and the United States medical care, the United States medical care might be more advanced, might offer better educated doctors, more experience. But the one thing here in the Philippines, the doctors here in the Philippines and nurses, and they care. You have a connection with your doctor here. You're not just a number. You're not a number. You're a person to them. When I was going through my cancer treatments in Iloilo City, uh, Dr. Palik knows Dazzle personally, would talk to Dazzle. He even knows our dogs, how's your dogs doing? Who's watching your dog? He's like, and then for me, I know it probably, it don't matter to other people, but for me, man, when I was going through my chemo treatments, my chemo nurse, the people that did the IV, and my doctor, Dr. Palik, every time did my chemo, and even Ma'am Marlene was a TRICARE person at the hospital. Before they started every treatment with me, we prayed together. And to me, that meant something to me. It's like that meant to me that these guys were on my side. They wanted me to get healthy. They were praying with me. And I know in the States that could be an issue, praying with your patient. I know that could be an issue, but not an issue here, man. It's like, and to me, it meant a lot to me that every time. I had 12 chemo treatments at Medical City Iloilo, and each time my doctors and nurses before the start of our session, they would pray with me, and that mattered to me. That maybe not matter to other people, but I know there was a divine intervention up there that helped me helped me at least survive my treatments and be cancer free for the last 3 years. James, I have doctors that won't even look at me because they say they don't help. Oh man, that's horrible. Walk out. Oh man, that's horrible. That's horrible, Lola. And that's the thing. To me, the big, like I said, I've worked with doctors in the US and I've been around doctors here now and nurses. That's the big difference I see is they care about you. Whereas in the US, a lot of times you're just patient number one, patient number two. It's like they don't remember you. A lot of times they don't know your name. They're looking at the clip chart. They're looking at like, I see you got this, you got this. They're not. A doctor here in the Philippines. When they like for I'm sure James will experience this when with Karen's prenatal now with the doctor in Asia Pacific. They go, oh, how are you guys doing? It's like, are you guys excited? They'll talk to you. They'll talk to you, and to me that matters, man. To me that matters. Exchange rate. Hey, all right, Flyboy. All time high, brother. All time high. 61.72. It closed yesterday. All time high Philippine peso low. All time low for the dollar. The strongest dollar has ever been here in the Philippines. Good AM, Joe. Luzon has 4 UP campuses. Every region, Visayas, UP campus. Yeah. Mindanao only has one so far. Again, again. Fortune. Mindanao is kind of almost treated like a stepchild. That's why a lot of Mindanao people they're like not happy a lot of times with the government of the Philippines because they always seem to get the short end of the stick. They're kind of like the Mississippi. They're kind of like the Mississippi of the United States. The poorest of the poor area here in the Philippines. Derek, does Wilcon Depot have Blue Yeti? They don't have the brand Blue Yeti, Derek, but EcoFlow. EcoFlow is the brand that they have at Wilcon Depot. The Blue Yeti I had to order online through Lazada. Mindanao has MSU campuses all over. Mindanao State University. Mindanao State University. Asia Pacific, Daniel. Oh yeah, that's right. Daniel, he went to Asia Pacific. 2 thumbs up. Yeah, right. Daniel was really happy about his visit to Asia Pacific Medical Center in Kalibo. Lowell, YouTube Goldfinger, he's lost over 100 pounds. Nice, nice. Taking peptides and will ship to the US. I'm going to start taking them when I move to Gino's Island. Move to Gino. It's not my island, man. It's Panay Island. It's not Gino's Island. There. Filipinas use umbrella. Yeah, for the sun. Yeah, yeah. That's all. Like I said, she started walking on her exercise 2 p.m. man, and Dazzle was walking out there till 7 p.m. man for like 5 hours. She had an umbrella. She was exercising out there. Those that are not ambulance are just patient. Yes, they're just paid, and that's what mostly we have here in the province. The only ambulance I've seen here is the one at Asia Pacific Medical. The box type square ambulance with all the gear. I've drove those during my military career. I drove those ambulances. I've seen some that are like the van type ones. St. Gabriel Hospital has that, but I haven't seen the inside of that. But Asia Pacific Medical Center has the box with all the oxygen, defibrillator, everything, the full gear. I am on Monjaro. Monjaro. Fortune, is there a number to get hold of the PTV? There is for it depends, Captain Ron, where you are. Like for here in Numancia where I live, like I said, we have like two of those transport vehicles. There's a number that I can text. Not guaranteed that they will reply right away, or if I call them that they'll pick up because they could be responding to an incident. Because again, they're hired by our town, our mayor. They work for the mayor, the MDDRM, something like the long abbreviation, like medical response disaster, whatever. And they work for the mayor of Numancia. Uh, they got like maybe 4 or 5 medics. Usually, right beside the fire department is where the vehicles are located, but they're not full ambulances. Like I said, I'll be surprised if they even have a defibrillator in there. Stories from the sky. Do you guys visit BGC much? It's worth seeing. We actually got invited. We don't, I'm not a big fan of Manila. I'm not big fan of Metro. I was born and raised there until I was 12. Really, most of my relatives there, I'm not really close to them. I'm not. They visited me. Some have visited me here in Boracay. They're busy with their lives. They're busy with their lives. But we have a friend that took us to the Henan. They took us to the Henan. They actually have a condo in BGC, and they've invited Dazzle and I to stay at their condo. And they're not even staying at their condo. They have a house, but we'll see. I'm just not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of the city in a big city. For me, I love going to Iloilo City. That's enough for me to deal with the city. The thing that I don't like would be landing in Manila and then getting to BGC, and then I know BGC is nice. I know it's nice inside there, but pretty much just if we go there, we'll just stay around the BGC area. But it's not one of those things. I've lived in big cities. I've lived in Los Angeles. I've lived in San Antonio, Texas. So to me, it would be just the same. I prefer the province life now that I'm older. I'll be 60 here in a couple of months. I like the peacefulness here. I don't like the noise of the city too much, especially in Manila. Traffic, getting stuck in traffic in Manila doesn't. It's not exciting for me. Captain Ron, I have been using different peptides, not just for weight loss. I'm down since summer. Wow, nice, nice. You need to go high protein, low carb to prevent muscle loss. All right, Joe Canoe. He is taking replace peptides, our body to produce weight loss, more energy, mental clarity. Joe, I eat a protein diet and can't lose any more weight. Lucita, hey Lucita. Good morning from Pila Laguna. Pila Laguna. Good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. Hey gang, I'm heading out. All right, heading out. Check out here in Rojas. Have fun. Have fun in Rojas, man. Have fun in Rojas City. Blessed day. Blessed day to you, Brian. Thanks again, brother. Thanks again for yesterday, man. That was a fun day hanging out with you yesterday. We'll fix that, Lowell. Captain Ron, no one standard number like 911. That would be specific to the location. Like for Calibo, it can be asked, but that would be a number that could change. You know how? Yeah, yeah. That's you can like when if you come here to Panay Island, like I said, the best way if that's a concern, live close enough to the hospital and then make arrangements for you to get there to the hospital. I wouldn't count on a number that you would call. Your response, they're not required to like respond, or they're not, if somebody even picks the call. Like if I try to call them or text them, you know, it'd be quicker for Dazzle for me to get in the car and then Dazzle take me. And if I need it, if I Dazzle needed help for me to get me in the car, I got neighbors here that I know more than willing to help. And I'd be the same way to my neighbors here. If they have an emergency here, I'll be happy to take them to the emergency room myself. That's just how it is here in the Philippines. We watch out for each other. I wouldn't even think, it's like, that's why my neighbor here, my one neighbor here, their mom is like in her 80s already. They know that they can count on me. Doesn't matter if it's like 1 a.m. in the morning, they knock on my door. I'll be jumping in my car. I'll be rushing her to the hospital. That's just how Filipinos think, man. That's the community that we are here in the Philippines. Fortune. Good AM, Lucita. You are now in Pilaguna. That's a very historic town. Nice big church and many ancestral house, Spanish era. Bahay na bato. Isn't that best Manjaro, GLPI anymore? Diet helps, but everybody is different. I don't eat after 6 p.m. and wait until 10 before eating. I also walk 2 miles a day and Oh, awesome, man. Awesome. Good to hear that. Good to hear that, Joe Cano. Good to hear, man. Doing all you can to stay healthy. Good morning, Fortune. Yes, Thursday. Then we head back to the U.S. Have a safe trip back. Have a safe trip back, Lucita, to Maine. Man, Gino, you look great and seems like you are young at heart. You obviously don't miss LA. Yeah, yeah. For me, it's like uh, I can honestly say, after I've done the cancer treatments from 3 years ago, now it's been 3 years. I'm cancer free 3 years. This is the best I've felt. Uh, after treatments. I thought after my treatments, I was thinking, oh, a couple of months, I'll be good to go. It doesn't work like that, I guess. I found out, it's like when you go through chemotherapy and radiation therapy, it takes a long time to get back, to start feeling like you're normal. Like me now, 3 years removed from my treatments, this is me. This is me now. Now I'm able to do more and more exercise. I'm doing push-ups. I'm doing sit-ups. I'm walking more. I'm riding the bicycle right there. I'm riding the bicycle. When we at Leanna's birthday party, I was able to swim laps. I'm starting to feel myself again. It's a good feeling, and I think people notice that anyway. I haven't gained the weight. It's weird how people always talk about weight loss. Me, it's the other way. It's like I'm trying to gain weight because I'm 5'10". I'm pretty tall for a Filipino, 5'10", and I'm 145 pounds. I'd like to at least get to 150, maybe even 155. That would be my weight when I was in the military. So I'd like to get back to that. But everything's good, man. Everything, I can't complain. I'm blessed. I'm happy to be alive. Happy, getting stronger each day. I'm just happy now because I can pick a ball now. I can play pickleball. I'm riding my skateboard more. I'm doing more things. So, and I'm thankful. I'll be, like I said, August 1st. I'm gonna be 60, and I can still do those things. I know it's a blessing to be able to still do those things at this late in the game. Late in the game, I'm still able to do these things. Maggie started internship last Monday in BGC with Ayala. Ooh, Ayala Systems. Congrats, Maggie. And she noticed that it's expensive. For now, in May, just Monday, cost semester, and in 2 weeks by June, all right, and go Maggie, man. That's awesome. Awesome to hear that, man. Derek, I believe God is guiding me. He wanted me to join as U.S. Navy for sure, right? In 1982, He brought me to the Philippines. Where, yeah, there's, uh, I believe in that. I believe in that, Derek. To me, everything happens for a reason. For me, even my battle with cancer. Now I'm 3 years cancer free. Uh, for me, it made me a better person, made me appreciate everything in my life more. You know, Day to day, I appreciate everything. So maybe it wasn't easy going through the 4 months of treatments, man. Those were like horrible times, but I appreciate everything more now. I'm grateful to be alive, grateful to be able to do things again. Last time I was in Pila was maybe 3 years ago when we did our Visita Iglesia, starting with Calamba. I've never been to Pila, Laguna. I've been to Laguna. I've been to different areas in Laguna, but I don't know where. I'll have to look it up now where Pila is. Nice, Derek. You are blessed, Derek, for sure, for sure. That's nice fortune. We're probably going to do sightseeing before we have. It really is beautiful place, very historic. I haven't been home for 16 years. Wow, wow. So it looks great. Yeah, I can imagine. You've been gone 16 years, and I'm sure everything's like built up. That's one thing here in the Philippines. If you haven't been here 10 years, 15, 20 years, man, everything, uh, even Calibo, from the first time I saw Calibo 15 years ago to what it is now. almost unrecognizable to me. You know, like all the malls now, the big hospital, the Esplanade. You know, so much development in the Calibo area. Some houses there, Lucita, are willing to let you in. They will tell you this. Oh, that would be awesome. You can also go to Pagsanghan. Ooh, Pagsanghan. Pagsanghan Falls. Pagsanghan Falls. Maggie is getting a taste of real life. Hopefully, her internship goes well. She sounds like such a great person and an asset. Oh yeah, man. Here, Jokano, just being able to go to UP Diliman, that is the Harvard of the Philippines. UP Diliman. If that's the school you attend, you gotta be smart. You gotta be a smart. You gotta have like high IQ to attend UP Diliman. I have time, Nagarian, Liliu, and Ice Mountain Resorts, foothills of Mount Banahaw, or go to San Pablo and visit any of their lakes. I remember in Laguna, one of the favorite thing when I was a little kid before we left the Philippines when I was Hidden Valley. I don't know if it still exists. I'm sure it does, right? Fortune, but I remember my relatives. We would go on an outing to a Hidden Valley. Hidden Valley. Um, that was a nice place. I remember it. I remember like swimming in that natural made swimming pools at Hidden Valley. In the 1990s and 2000, there came the MBA, rivalry of our PBA. Laguna had a team called Laguna Lakers. I never heard of that. I never heard of that. I was gone already. 1990s, I was at Clark like 1988 to 91, but I didn't get out much. When I was in the military station at Clark Air Base in Angela City, it was all work for me. uh, I was able to visit Baguio. I was able to visit like La Union, but I was never able to go to Manila much or in Laguna. Wish we had more time to see everyone, everything. Oh, I know, right? I know, Lucita. That happens, and when you come to the Philippines, the lack of time. You're everybody wants to see you. Everybody wants to like hang out with you. It's just limited time. Limited time. Thanks, Joe. Maggie is just finishing second year college, but moving too fast. Voluntary. Oh yeah, man. College, just like I remember attending college here in Calibo, man. Those 4 years flew by, man. I couldn't believe how fast it went. Sure be they have Biko pie. Buko pie, man. They got the best, man. They got the best buko pies there in Laguna. They got different couple of different brands, but that's one of the things when I'm in that area. It's like the buko pie. All right, I'm gonna end the live stream right here. I kind of went over. I tried to limit it to 2 hours. Actually, the other day was shorter, but thank you for the comments. It kept it going. It kept the live stream going. I appreciate. Right, Gino, Hidden Valley Springs, yeah, that was one of our go-to every summer. We would go to as a family, my relatives and I, we would meet up in Hidden Valley. I remember they had a buffet. That was my first experience as a kid growing up. They had like a buffet, never heard of a buffet, but that was the first experience for me. That's why I remember. I remember Hidden Valley. Buko Pie by the original in Los Ban. Man, they got awesome Buko Pie in Laguna, man. It's like, I miss that. I miss that. All right, I'm going to end the live stream right here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining the live. Appreciate all the comments. It made the live stream go longer, but thank you. Thank you so much for all the comments. Take care, Lowell. God bless. God bless, my brother. Take care, everyone. Everyone, stay blessed. Stay blessed.